Hi, folks. This is Mountain Man coming to you from parts unknown. I'm going live tonight. I've got on my thumbnail True Colors, and you see Mr. T's new emblem he's got on Truth Social. I'm also going to give an update on South America, Brazil. Hello, Mr. Kibler. Hello, Wanda. And it also includes a little bit of military updates in Brazil. So I've got Sanity restored, or at least it's beginning to be restored. I'm going to go over that too. And a Durham attack. Notice I used a 4 for an A because that name is going to start being suppressed. The name Durham, like in Durham boats, what George Washington used to cross the Delaware. So anyway, and I'll give some updates on my last broadcast. Hi, Linda. Hi, Simpson. Hi, Happy Days. Hi, Nikki B. How are you doing? So everybody's coming in. I guess I'm going to start by commenting about last night's video really quick, since a lot of you are going to be here or tune in afterwards that watched that broadcast concerning Eliza Blue. I didn't set the, I guess, the table for that conversation. That's a person who decided to claim to be coming out against the exploitation or trafficking of people. And it's created a lot of controversy, and a lot of people, what I call dogpiled her, and was posting videos she had done years ago that were very risque and embarrassing to this person. So she pushed to have them taken down. And the controversy is growing, and I don't know how it will resolve itself. But I can tell you that a lot of people are asking questions like, well, is she just grifting for money? Is she asking people to send money for a safe house that doesn't exist? Who are the people she's helping? Well, do you all remember somebody by the name of Madison Marquette? She came on and started exposing how she was recruited into the adult movie industry at a young age, very young, and how it destroyed her life. And she was pointing fingers and naming names. One of them was the last name of Biden, and she was attacked, doxxed. A lot of footage was drug out and put on the internet about her. She was shamed right out of the story. So I'm not saying that's the case in this situation, but I am saying they have not given that woman a chance, and they are not being adult about this approach. They're being juvenile, and they're throwing rocks rather than listening to what she has to say. And I don't approve of that kind of behavior, and I don't condemn a person like her first and then ask questions later, okay? And that's what they're doing. So that's the story behind that. And I get that more if y'all want to. If we can have a story just about that in the future. But how many of you all have listened to Mr. T and some of the videos that he put out? And I guess two of the biggest themes today was the FA, and then the other letters are KE News, and how poorly they are doing. And he used the term corrupt in one of his latest videos about the news industry. And corrupt is that is used in legal situations at times. The word corrupt is different than crooked. So that's very telling to me. But I'm going to go out of studio here. I hope my sound doesn't come off like that last time. Hi, Bubba. Hi, Doc Honeycutt. How you doing? Hi, Finding Dory. Hi, hi. I already said hi, Simpson. I'll say it again. Ha ha. How's everybody? Awaken Trillium. Hope, how you doing, Hope? So Wanda's here. We get Reba. Everybody's coming. Patriot Missile. Let me see. Now I'm gonna go out of the studio. Hopefully, I don't lose any volume with that. But I think there's going to be a number of things that are going to be. I won't. Well, I guess I will say targeted for change. Once we have the rightful return of our chief executive, okay? And I don't think they've tagged that term yet for any kind of suppression. But I think there's going to be three things that are going to be looked at. And one of them, Mr. T did a video for it to be 3 minutes, I think, and 45 seconds long. It sure did pack a punch. And I posted it on my Truth, and the other word is the other half of social site. For those of you who may not have seen it, and has a link to take you straight to the video. But I think the three things that are going to be put on the chopping block for remedies, so something like this never happens again, what we've all been going through, is going to be the climate change. And I'll say it, cult. And the C dash, people spell it this way, C-VID. Okay, that whole episode, and I'm not going to say that that's any kind of cult. What I'm going to say is that is something that never should have happened. And now that it has happened, we've got to, I'm sorry, folks. Sorry if I got knocked out. I was getting a message, and I hope my volume's still on. This time I just erased it, and I'm moving on so I don't lose any volume or my train of thought. So we're going to be dealing with that. And I mean in a legislative and legal manner and criminal where warranted. All the three things I'm talking about. The climate change, the CVID, okay, and the gender movement, okay? Just like in your car, you got a tranny in your car. All right, those three things are going to be dealt with. And Mr. T's laying it out there. And we need to be motivated and outraged in a good way so that we affect change. And these video vignettes, I don't know if this latest one was shared on Forbes breaking news on UTizzle. I don't know if they're going to try to replicate that one or not. But a lot of the stuff he's been putting out there has been put up by Forbes breaking news. If you can't get on TS, okay. Plus, I discuss them when there are hammer drops like this one. Now, let's see. What are the points that he made in the 3 minute and 45-second video? 3 minutes, 45 seconds. I said, oh, it's not long. Let me listen to it. Man, he crammed a lot in there. And it was called Left-Wing Gender Insanity, okay? And it discusses the chemical, physical, and emotional, and the term is used, mutilation of young people is going to be addressed as a priority. And it is going to be discussed as what I've said in the past as abuse, okay? And of child abuse, okay? So, yeah, we have to talk this way, but we're smart enough to spell little simple words like that and put it together. And it's just a shame that companies don't encourage people to talk about it. Rather, I have to worry about people trying to make sure I don't talk about it. But one of the first things he's going to do is revoke Biden's affirmation care, is what they call it. And that has to do with gender. They call it affirmation care. So that little whatever it was Biden signed is going in the trash bale. And there's going to be a new executive order issued ceasing all such programs. And any federal agency or paperwork or anything discussing that is going to be forbidden, okay? It's going to be the official position of the federal government that there are only two, male and female. And that is assigned at birth with a big period on the end of that. There is to be no more discussions or anyone approaching a little one and putting doubts in their minds about who and what they are is going to be considered abuse, as it should be. And to me, this 3-minute and 45-second video is one of the most, I think, to the point, blunt, and inarguable videos that he's put out. And for the people that still hate Trump for some freaking flipping reason, now I got a message from Frank Speech. God bless Frank and Frank's Speech. You gotta love him. Anyway, for those people that still don't like him for whatever reason, or 2 scoops of ice cream, or the garbage about the altered videos about what he said about white supremacists, if they can't see through that and they are okay with Biden's affirmation policy, I don't think you need them as friends, okay? And it's even getting to the point where if you have relatives that say, well, I think people should be able to help children discover what, you need to be very blunt with them and tell them there's something wrong with their brain, okay? And I, for the better part of a year, have been saying we have to mend fences and reach out to our friends and family. We do. But if, it gets to a certain point, just like with Noah, you got to shut the door of the boat and let the water fill up outside and just let them bang on the outside and scream and yell. So it's getting to that point. And he also said about hospitals or healthcare providers that they will be terminated from any Medicare or Medicaid programs with the federal government. And these things I'm going to talk about that he spoke about in that brief statement, I think are going to apply not only to the gender situation, but to other medical situations we've faced, and you know what I'm talking about. But what he's going to do is engage the Department of Justice to investigate hospitals and big pharma for promoting the sale or the use of any drugs or steroids or hormone blockers or anything that has not been approved for use for the purpose for which it was not intended. Okay? And that includes what they're doing to prepare a child for surgery or to change their body chemically. And he's going to institute what's called a private right of action. And this is what I've discussed last year many times, enabling victims, which they will be considered. All right. And I feel they're going to have to make them a protected class. I mean, we're talking about thousands of young people that are openly suffering abuse, psychological abuse, physical abuse. And they're going to have a private right of action where they can, in all 50 states, sue these so-called healthcare providers for what Mr. T said, for what they have unforgivably done. And no, there can't be any understanding and forgiving or excuses or, well, I was just following the guidance from, I don't care who you follow the guidance from. You know, what's the matter with your brain? And what are you doing to these little ones? So that kind of, quote, care is going to be considered a violation of federal health and safety standards. Okay? And there any hope of them being involved in a Medicare or Medicaid programs for the hospitals and the providers will be revoked. And he is also going to have this DOJ investigation. See if there's a deliberate cover-up. Is there a deliberate cover-up? And this is, I think, going to apply to the other medical situations I'm talking about that not only affect the young people. Is there a deliberate cover-up about the long-term effects? The long-term effects of this so-called care. And I think whatever template he's laying out in this video, is going to be to include what we've all endured, okay, as far as what you get in your shoulder. And that's going to include, I think, and if it doesn't, I'm certainly going to mouth off about it, the psychological abuse of people who have had arguments with their family members, all right, or if they've been thrown out of a restaurant or a store or whatever. And then the more serious issues of people who were coerced because of their jobs, fired from their jobs, lost their military standing, anything like that. So we'll see how that play out. If you all haven't seen that video, listen to it a couple of times because it is packed full. He even gets into the schools. Anybody in the school system that approaches a child with that theory, with that belief, I guess, whatever, it'll be considered a civil rights violation. The softest part of it. There will be criminal, depending on how far they push it. But at the very least, it'll be considered sexual discrimination and a civil rights violation if anybody in the school system does it. And he's already said that people who have crossed the Rubicon in certain legal ways when it comes to young ones, that they're going to be escorted out at the very least. So, anyway, Trump closed out by saying that this type of push by government entities and private entities is something that's never been seen before in history, world history. We've not even heard of it. Even with the stories of the days of Noah, even with the stories of Sodom and Gomorrah, even with the story about the Baal of Peor, where 23,000 people died overnight from disease, from worshiping Baal. And there's nothing in any Egyptian history, Greek history, Sumerian, nothing discusses this kind of insanity that they're talking about. So there you have it. It's covering schools. It's covering the medical community. It's covering big pharma. It's covering every aspect. Is going to be taken care of through all 50 states. Okay, it's going to be like, well, you can go to such and such state and take your kid there. Oh no, it's abuse, and it's not going to be permitted. And I think this same template I'm discussing right now that he laid out for this particular issue is going to be applied to the other sticking points that we've been having to deal with. Oh, TM, you're right. People are going to have meltdowns, face purple crying. That's true. Hi, Melinda. Hi, Kate. Yeah, they are going to freak out. Now this is where he's thrown down the gauntlet. I was going to put that in the title. You know, he threw down the gauntlet, but you know, after I looked at his new icon in the TS where he's got the American flag on his face, I said, put true colors. And then you got Joe on the other side looking through the eye of Horus. Okay, so I was going to put time to choose. You know, choose. What do you want? Joe Biden looking through the eye of Horus, or do you want Mr. T with the flag? It's getting to that point. And, you know, if you have friends and family members that don't care about this stuff, you might want to gently tell them, you know, if you don't care about these people being injured, hurt, the young people for the rest of their lives, or the people who've lost their jobs because they wouldn't take a certain treatment, don't expect anybody to care about you. Okay, if you don't care about others and you don't take things serious, when something happens and your ox is getting gored, don't come running crying. Okay, and there has to be a time for some frank discussions about, you know, how is this being permitted and how come nobody gives a rat's behind? Who can have any self-respect that knows this stuff is going on? And that's one of the reasons I automatically jumped to the defense of this individual known as Eliza Blue, who I don't know anything about. At least she's talking about it. Why automatically assume she's stealing, grifting, or lying about a safe house? At least she's a B-list celebrity condemning this type of stuff and bringing it to the forefront. Is Oprah doing that? No. Is Kim Kardashian doing that? No. And as soon as somebody pokes their head up and starts condemning this stuff, they get condemned and attacked. What does that say to somebody else who wants to come out? What happened to Madison Marquette? What is happening to this Eliza Blue? You know, if it's shown that she's doing something wrong, then dogpile her. Okay? Then dogpile her. You don't do it right when they make a peep, and at the same time give all these other big stars a pass and don't even discuss them. Everybody knows about the black book. Everybody knows about the flight logs and the people's names that are on there, and they're quiet about it. Because if they say something on their UTizzle channel about it, they might get taken down. And that's their bread and butter. Okay. They sell their little promoted items on there. They get super chats and all this. So who's really the grifter? Okay. The one who wants to get clicks because they're taking pot shots at somebody who's speaking out against something, or the one who's trying to speak out against something? Who's the grifter? That's what I got to say. Now, I get off that, but it really burns me up. Now, if she did something wrong, I could see it. But to automatically accuse and finger point and take somebody's past and rub it in their face. One thing I had in my notes that I didn't get to mention last night, I know they banned Huckleberry Finn. Remember when we went to school, we read Mark Twain, Huckleberry Finn, and they banned that, right? Did they also ban where you had to read the Scarlet Letter? I mean, there's some of these kids doing YouTube channels now and on Twitter and stuff. Did they not read the Scarlet Letter and learn anything from that? So, okay, if she is not genuine, not doing something wrong, that has yet to be proven. But I say hooray for her for bringing it up and condemning the exploitation of children and all the other people out there, hundreds of big name celebrities that don't say a peep about it. These so-called creators, these so-called free speech people, they're quiet as a newborn puppy because they don't want to lose their channel. But they know they're not going to lose their channel if they viciously attack somebody who the left disagrees with. So anyway, Durham, it used to be, because we all would sit there and say, well, we want to know about Durham. Durham's been in the picture for how long? He's been in the picture for years. And one of the things people were saying about him, you can hardly find any pictures of him. You never hear any leaks out of his office. He's serious. He's, this and that. And so he had the Sussman case. He had the Poroshenko case. The only two cases he ever lost in a 30-year career. And with the Sussman case, he was tried in the Magic Kingdom with a rigged jury. One of them actually was really good friends with the occasional Cortex. Okay. And he was hands down evidence that he was guilty. And the jury said, well, we just don't think it's an important crime. He's guilty. It's just we didn't think it was important. So did he really lose that case? But anyway, let me see. I pulled up some articles. And don't you know, well, we know we have control of the House. We know Jim Jordan is going to be doing what he does best as far as interrogating people under the Judiciary Committee in the House. But guess what? We don't have control of the Senate. We got partial control. So what's the Senate doing? They're doing their hearings. And who are they focusing on? Who are they planning on attacking? Dick Durbin is chairman of the Judiciary. I call him Dirty Durbin, and I know what everybody else likes to call him, but I keep my broadcast clean. But he is dirty. He's been around for a long time. Anyway, you go to look up Durham's name, and you see a list of stories about how the Senate Judiciary Committee is going to start investigating Durham for his handling of these cases. The Russia probe. Yes, Cindy, that's right. There's 2 Durhams. Hi, Pappy Two Bears. Hi, Sandy. Hi, Nix. Kate, yeah, I see. Just looked her up. There are thousands of TRAFF people to come forward, not big time celebrities. You know, like I said, there's a site where you can go on where people who have gone through those operations for their GENDER, they've got 10,000 people who are come of age and wish they hadn't had that surgery. And yes, you have thousands of civilian people coming forward, but you know what? If you're a celebrity and you come out, you get attacked. Okay. And it's possible if you're a big time enough celebrity and you could point fingers at the right people, you could get Epsteined. Okay. But they don't have to worry about this little Eliza Blue person because all they got to do is sick a bunch of fame-hungry YouTubers after her. They don't have to do anything themselves. So if I'm the only one sticking up for her, you know, that's fine on my channel because I'll do it. If she does something wrong, I'll condemn it. But as far as I'm concerned, to bring that issue to the forefront, I applaud her. Okay, so I go to look up Durham's name. Fox News, the Washington Post, something called the Herald Sun, where you looked him up and you saw no reports. You all of a sudden find all these press releases. Democrats to take a hard look at Durham's probe into Russia investigation. New details about Durham's probe, demand answers. You know, just garbage like that about John Durham. So they're trying to make a narrative. No, Reba, you're not chopped liver. Hi, Cheryl. That's right, Cheryl. We'll repent and live upright. Well, you know, this Eliza Blue's showing if you try to repent and you try to live upright, the first thing they're going to do is rub your past in your face and put you on blast and assume that you're a grifter. Boy, I hate that word. Anyway, so let's see. I'm gonna read you parts of this article where I found it very interesting that people were coming out as former employees instead of the term that Adam Shiftless liked to use, which was whistle, right? Blower. Okay. They're not using that term. So they don't get the protections where they can tell a bunch of lies and you don't even know who they are. I found that interesting that they're not using that because that's what they use with the person tied up with Vindman. Okay. And I know who he is, but you still can't say it because he is a C.I.A. asset. And don't put his name in the chats, but his name will come out, I'm sure, in the what I'm going to call the Davos trials. Okay, instead of Nuremberg, I hope they're called the Davos trials. We'll see. But anyway, this article comes out. The Senate Judiciary Committee is pledging to review the actions of former special counsel John Durham following reports of inappropriate handling of his probe into the investigation of former President Trump. Recent reporting from the New York Times detailed ethical concerns during the probe that prompted numerous staff departures, including concerns over former Attorney General Bill Barr's involvement in the investigation, as well as the decision to proceed to trial without sufficient evidence. Okay, so these are staffers that have quit. They haven't been given the whistleblower protections. And I thought, like I said, I think that's been clamped down on as being abusive. But anyway, let me go on with this article. I got to get down to the right page here. The report also revealed that the Justice Department obscured the nature of the criminal aspect of the probe, failing to disclose that it concerned Trump's financial dealings rather than the misconduct related to the initial investigation into the former president's ties to Russia. So what are they trying to put in the public consciousness there? That Trump was committing crimes again? Now that they've got all his tax returns and everything, they're digging through his children's stuff. These reports about abuses in Special Counsel Durham's investigation so outrageous that even his longtime colleagues quit in protest are but one of many instances where former President Trump and his allies weaponized the Justice Department, Committee Chairman Dick Durbin said in a statement. So now they're accusing Trump of weaponizing the Justice Department because of what Durham's doing. Sounds to me like somebody's getting over the target or already is over the target. The Justice Department should work on behalf of the American people, not for the personal benefit of any president. As we wait for the results of ongoing internal reviews, the Senate Judiciary Committee will do its part and take a hard look at these repeated episodes and the regulations and policies that enable these abuses. So they're saying that Durham's probe is abusive by Trump. And he goes on to say, and the regulations and policies that enable them to ensure such abuses of power cannot happen again, he added. The Justice Department did not immediately respond to requests for comment, and Durham and Barr did not respond to the Times story. It goes on for a little bit more, but you see they're dragging Barr's name and they're dragging Durham. And this shows you, I'll finish the story in a minute, but this was just what Trump was saying. They had to be watchful for attempts at impeachment, as far as Mike Pence especially. Now you see 2 years after Trump's out of office, they're looking to headhunt Durham. And they're supposed to not have any idea what's going on. Any leaks concerning that investigation is criminal. But they're saying that these former colleagues have expressed concern. And as I've said before, they have not been given whistleblower status. According to the report, after connecting with Italian officials who deny any involvement in relaying information for the Russia investigation, Barr expanded Durham's authority to include criminal prosecution powers after receiving a credible tip about possible financial crimes related to Trump. But Barr's vague commentary left it unclear that the criminal component of the investigation was not focused on those who initiated the probe of the former president. Now, this article is written where they can't enunciate their purpose for why they're saying Barr's done anything wrong. But they write it in a way to insinuate that Trump has committed financial crimes. When the criminal part of it's gone to money laundering or people paying Christopher Steele, what was it, $1 million for his crappy dossier? But they don't get into that. the corrupt part of the media, as Trump was mentioning, the corrupt part, which has criminal undertones, that term. So, in other cases, subordinates questioned Durham's efforts to gain evidence on the leader of Georgie Porgy Sorioso connected organizations and Barr's public comments about the investigation. And then there's a quote here from Barr: "The evidence shows that we are not dealing with just mistakes or sloppiness. There is something far more troubling here," Barr said in April of 2020. So they're apparently trying to comply with reporting standards or ethics or whatever you want by bringing up Georgie Porgy Sorioso. But they're doing it in a way to make it seem like there's some crime being committed against that individual. They're not bringing up NGOs, non-government organizations financed by that man. So let me finish this article up. Staff also bristled as Durham prepared to prosecute Michael Sussman, a lawyer who represented Democrats as they met with the FBI during the probe into Trump's Russia dealings. Two employees said Durham didn't have enough. Two employees said Trump did not have enough solid evidence to bring charges and ultimately left the team. Sussman would later be acquitted in a court defeat for Durham. They leave out his first court defeat ever. So, what does this tell me? This tells me that in the Justice Department, they're weeding out foot soldiers, these employees who have not been given whistleblower status, that are essentially leaking and potentially criminally leaking information about an ongoing investigation by Durham to this corrupt Senate committee. They're finding out the roaches in the woodwork. I discussed that in my last broadcast, that we got to weed them all out. So even now, with Durham, with their attack on Durham, these people who are making these complaints, these people who are leaving his team and making these accusations, are exposing themselves, or they could be playing for the White Hats and keeping records as to who is trying to put them up to it. Okay? Somebody's behind this attempt to rattle and threaten and end the Durham probe. Okay? So we'll find out how that's going to work out for him. But is Durham going to pop out of the woodwork? Is this saying that the heat is on people like Durbin, Dirty Durbin? And of course, when you get into the Senate, you're talking about McConnell, Mitt Romney with his son working for an energy company for UKR. Okay. So there's a lot of what they used to call powerful people feeling the heat, and it's coming from Durham. That's why they're attacking him. So anyway, we're going to keep an eye on that. And Durham hadn't said a peep except one of the few statements I told you about number of broadcasts ago, that he put out a statement. You can buy all the burner phones you want. You can use all the secret bank accounts you want. We are able to track the money laundering. You know, that was a statement put out there to give people the chills. And I can tell by this article I just read that it's working. So I didn't get to read it, but I heard that the Laverne and Shirley actress died. I'm just getting a little off subject. Cindy Williams, remember her? She passed away. She was 75. I didn't see any details on that, if it was because of the Jabberdo or not. I hope not. But that's sad. And, they bring back a lot of memories. But anyway, Newsweek put out a headline: John Durham under pressure to disclose details of Trump criminal probe. Trump criminal probe. See how they twist it? That he's not putting out details of Trump criminal probe. The crimes against Trump, okay? But no, they don't put that word in there. And the Daily Beast. This is simultaneously, shows you they're working together. The Daily Beast, why Merrick Garland should fire special counsel Durham now. So you have this coordinated media effort to get rid of Durham. I'll have to wait till I do a picture show to show you all that one. It is a fellow YouTuber putting out guidelines on how to keep your self from getting kicked off or suppressed. To show everybody, as some of my fellow broadcasters think I'm overreacting, and but hey, I'm not every foggy day going out and starting a new channel and trying to find my old subscribers because I said something and not said it in code. You guys are smart enough to figure out what I'm saying. So anyway, we're going to see about John Durham. So anyway, and then the last thing before I came on board was Mr. T put a video out that had Ron DeSantis, and there was I think 10 seconds long. Did y'all get to see that? Ron DeSantis saying, I think I'm going to be a different choice or whatever. He said, somebody like Paul Ryan. And Trump put above that video, wow, or something like that, where you have DeSantis saying he's going to be like Paul Ryan. Now, whether this little battle and back and forth is a coordinated dance, as I said, to give some texture to the Republican Party, some facets, some other refuges for people to join the party, I don't know. I think it is. But Paul Ryan, as you know, is with Fox News. And one of Mr. T's warnings he put out was to Fox News not to be like the Washington, and he said compost. And he mentioned the usual names for other news organizations. Thank you, Dory. I'm not overreacting. I know. I'm not overreacting. I'm probably underreacting to some degree. So anyway, that is what the issues are. Now we're going to get to Brazil here. Tomorrow at 9:00, me and Oakman are going to go live. Okay. And I've gotten some information from him, and I went to it. I have another site I go to that showed how there's resistance, people putting up signs that the current governments, we just about all of South America is communist. I don't get involved in these terms like democratic socialists and none of that garbage. Is communism, okay? And I don't care what anybody says or how many college classes they took. I know a communist setup when I see it. So they putting up signs. I'll have to pull a picture up. I don't want to lose my signal with you all about Argentina and the different countries. But one thing I saw tonight that we are going to talk about tomorrow that Oak Man put up or sent me on a channel is something that happened on November 8th concerning the military. That's given a lot of people hope. And the censorship is worse. They have been arresting people. They are taking down people's sites en masse, and they have to be very careful. That's still going on. But he's smart. Oak Man's smart. And we're working around it. He's working around it. But one of the articles he put up was the party there, the Commie Party, they have a fear that a general will ignite the troops against loose screw. And they had an article published on Monday by Veha magazine, reveals the respectability that the military enjoys. That the general took action to prevent the federal police, as determined by Minister Alexander de Moraes. Now, de Moraes is what they call egghead, the Minister of Justice. This general prevented the arrest of a top general that Loose Screw wanted to arrest and remove from his position in the military. So the report goes on like this. Hours before being fired, the general and other members of the military summit received information that there would be an operation by the federal police against Lieutenant Colonel Mario Cesar Barbosa Cid, former assistant of orders of President Bolsonaro's. Okay, so they got wind that the federal police were going to come in and try to arrest this general. And this was ordered by the minister of the Supreme Court, Alexander de Moraes. There was talk of searching and apprehending at the lieutenant colonel's house and even his person. Okay, so they were going to try to shake him down and bust in his house and go through all his belongings and everything like that. So they got wind of that. But this Sid lives in a area known as Fazendija, an exclusive condominium for general officers, but which has a kind of pull transformed into a home for a privileged few others. Upon learning the possibility of an operation on this site, you'll have to excuse me because it's a little different in the translation. Upon learning of an operation, Aruda is another person in the military who lives on the farm, warned colleagues and also Museo that the federal police would be prevented from entering the condominium and fulfilling any task designated by Egghead, Alexander de Moraes. Nobody messes with him here, and nobody takes him out of here, were some of his outbursts, according to reports from different sources. So apparently the military coalesced around this general and refused to allow his apartment or his person to be violated or removed or searched or anything. And this happened on the 8th. Now, when we get on with Oak Man, I got to find out what I can about, as we know, Bolsonaro's visa is going to run out at the end of the month, and there's going to have to be some decisions made. Oakman talked to me about they are trying to drum up charges against Bolsonaro's for crimes against humanity, and concerning accusing him of starving certain segments of the people. Now, that's very serious. That is what, when I showed you the last drumhead execution or a drumhead tribunal of a head of state was Ceausescu in Romania. And I showed you the aftermath of that for him and his wife. So they are digging into history books and trying to find some way to make sure Bolsonaro's never surfaces again, just like they did Tsar Nicholas after the 1917 revolution. I had not heard that, Reba. Did I hear that the ex-president? You can just put Mountain MM in our chats here, honey, so you don't have to type as much, if that's the problem. But anyway, did you hear that ex-president applied for a 6-month tourist visa to stay? You're the first one I've heard that from. The ex-president she's talking about, Bubba, is Bolsonaro's. So I'm glad to hear that. But will the Biden administration approve it? That's the thing. Because they want him back, and they're trying to dream up ways to charge him with a international crime. Okay. So what General Arruda prevented the operation determined by Moraes. Okay, I'm just reading that headline. So anyway, they're going to have to approve of that, or I mean, if anybody deserves political asylum, it's Bolsonaro's. Finding Dory, she's talking about Bolsonaro's from Brazil. Hi, Sherry. So yeah, his visa is going to be out very soon. So he's applied for a tourist visa. Anyway, folks, this is I have a link for buy me a coffee. Anybody wants to support the channel? I've gone through the whole thing, forgot all about it. And give me a thumbs up if you like it, or thumbs down if you don't. And I want to thank Kirsten for her gracious help. That was a nice surprise this morning. Thank you, Kirsten. And I haven't seen her in the chats, and this is everybody that's helped me: Aaron, Robin, Kristen, Wanda, Sandy, Norman, Dory, Pamela, Nikki B, Camperman, Sinsin, Mac, KNS Cleanup, Killer Fuzz, somebody 1 and 2. So anyway, I got a link in the description if y'all want to help an old man out. So I certainly hope we hear some news on that concerning him getting a tourist visa. 6 months, that would be great. But I'm like everybody else. I wish this would be over before 6 months. But I'm afraid we still got a lot of waking up to do, folks. A lot of waking up. But anyway, we'll get together soon. Tomorrow, 9 o'clock, me and Oakman. And we look forward to seeing you all in the chats. And I appreciate you all giving me what? Your precious time. Thank you very much. And you all have a great evening. This is Mountain Man, over and out.